Think you know Dodge? Guess again. Dodge's history is filled with unexpected twists, quirky decisions, and really bold moves that have shaped the automotive world. From its early days to modern innovations, the brand has always found ways to stand out. So let's dive in on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. First, like, subscribe, share the channel. Now, full disclosure here, I've never owned a Dodge. My first few cars were really old Mercurys, and then I've owned a whole slew of Fords, a few Chevys, and one Subaru. So let me hear from the Dodge guys out there. Tell me what Dodge you've had and why you liked it, down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the things we all need to know. Dodge is an American automotive brand that has been around since 1900, known for producing a wide range of vehicles from muscle cars to trucks. Founded by brothers John and Horace Dodge, it originally focused on producing parts for other manufacturers. In 1914, they introduced their own cars, and the brand quickly gained recognition for its solid engineering and reliability. Over the years, Dodge has become synonymous with powerful vehicles, particularly its muscle cars like the Charger and Challenger. Dodge also plays a major role in the truck market with its Ram series, offering rugged workhorses and powerful towing capabilities. Today, Dodge remains a key player in performance vehicles, family cars, and trucks, continuing to push boundaries in design and performance. Everybody got that? Good. Weird thing number 5. The Dodge brothers were involved in car manufacturing before they got into car manufacturing. The story of Dodge begins with 2 mechanically gifted brothers from Niles, Michigan, John and Horace Dodge. Before they ever built a car, the Dodge brothers were already well known in the auto industry as master machinists. In the early 1900s, they ran a successful bicycle and parts company before moving into the booming business of automobile manufacturing. But instead of jumping in with their own car, they started by building parts, and not just for anyone. They supplied engines, transmissions, and other components for Henry Ford himself. In fact, the Dodge brothers' craftsmanship was so trusted that Ford made them shareholders in the Ford Motor Company. The deal gave them enough money and confidence to strike out on their own. In 1914, they introduced their first car, the Dodge Model 30, a well-built alternative to the ubiquitous Model T. It came standard with an all-steel body and electric starter, and that was fancy stuff at the time. The brothers had a reputation for being tough, both in business and personality. Horace was known to drive cars really hard just to test their limits, while John reportedly once broke his hand punching a guy during a business dispute. You know, typical quality control initiatives. Now their cars quickly gained popularity, and by 1916, Dodge was the 4th largest automaker in the US. Sadly, both brothers died in 1920 within months of each other, more or less related to Spanish flu. Their deaths marked the end of an era, but their legacy had been well cemented into history. The Dodge name lives on as a symbol of grit, engineering prowess, and a little bit of old school toughness. It all started with 2 brothers who believed they could build something together, and they weren't afraid to throw a punch or a wrench to prove it. Weird thing number 4. Dodge has had a lot of logos. Now, Dodge has undergone a surprising number of logo changes over its long history, each reflecting shifts in ownership, brand strategies, and target audiences. Since its founding in 1914 by brothers John and Horace, the company has had at least 7 distinct logo designs, not including minor variations or special editions. The first Dodge logo, introduced in 1914, features an intricate circular emblem with interlocking triangles, a Star of David, and the letters DB for Dodge Brothers. It wasn't a religious symbol, it was meant to represent quality and precision, and that design lasted until the 1930s. In the 1930s, Dodge moved toward a more streamlined look, dropping the star and embracing simpler, more modern fonts and badge designs. By the 1950s, the company adopted a stylized knight's head, a nod to strength and heritage. One of the most recognizable logos came in the 1990s, the ram's head. With its aggressive horns and bold lines, it fit perfectly with Dodge's image of powerful trucks and muscle cars. Interestingly, when Chrysler spun off Ram into its own brand in 2009, Ram's head went with it, leaving Dodge to find a new visual identity. So after the split, Dodge adopted a cleaner, minimalistic logo, just the word Dodge, in a modern typeface, sometimes paired with 2 red racing stripes. But this logo has evolved subtly over the years, but still emphasizes speed and performance. So over more than a century, Dodge has gone from medieval symbols to muscular mascots to sleek typography. The changes reflect a brand constantly adapting to the times, whether it's making minivans or muscle cars. And despite all the redesigns, the core message has remained the same: bold vehicles for bold drivers. Weird thing number 3. Dodge has had some spectacular failures. Now, Dodge is known for its bold, powerful vehicles, but not every model has roared off the lot. A few have stalled, sputtered, and quietly disappeared from the showrooms overnight. These low-selling Dodge models remain curiosities in the brand's long history. One standout is the Dodge Aspen, launched in 1976, and on paper, it seemed promising. Compact, efficient, stylish. In practice, it was plagued by quality issues, recalls, and rust problems of all things. Though initially well-received, sales declined quickly due to word of mouth, and it was quietly phased out by 1980, just 4 years later. Another misstep was the Dodge St. Regis, and they made that from 1979 to 1981. Intended as a full-size luxury sedan, it was released just as buyers were turning towards smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles. Its square styling and underwhelming performance did not help, sales never took off, and it only sold for 3 years. Now in the 2000s, the Dodge Caliber aimed to replace the popular Neon with a hatchback crossover style. It looked different, it actually looked nice, I remember seeing it, but that difference did not resonate with buyers. Critics called the interior cheap, and the performance really underwhelming. Sales were modest at first, but by the time it was discontinued in 2012, very few mourned its departure. There are no Dodge Caliber car clubs. Then there's the Dodge Dakota, particularly in its final generation, which was 2005 to 2011. As a mid-size pickup truck, it struggled to compete with both the smaller and full-size pickups. Its sales were steady for a little while, but declined sharply, leading to its cancellation. Now, even Dodge's attempt at a compact car revival with the Dart 2013-2016 didn't go well. Despite a sleek look and available tech, it couldn't find an audience, partly due to weak engine options and partly due to stiff competition in that niche. It never sold in large numbers and was quietly pulled from production. Now, these models weren't all bad. For the most part, they just arrived at the wrong time. They missed the market, or they lacked the edge that Dodge is best known for. Weird thing number 2. Dodge has never been just Dodge. So Dodge has never existed in a vacuum. It's been part of a tangled web of car brands, mergers, and corporate drama that could rival a daytime soap opera. From its earliest days to now, Dodge has shared garage space with a variety of other automotive brands. It all began in 1928 when Dodge was sold to Chrysler Corporation. From then on, it became part of a growing family that included Plymouth, which is Chrysler's lower price brand, and DeSoto, aimed at mid-range buyers. While Dodge was supposed to sit in the just right middle, the overlap often led to confusion and some awkward family dinners at the auto shows. Over time, Chrysler added more names to the mix. In the 1980s, Dodge shared platforms and parts with brands like Mitsubishi, thanks to a partnership that brought us cars like the Dodge Colt and Dodge Stealth, which were essentially rebadged Mitsubishis wearing Dodge costumes. In 1998, Chrysler merged with Daimler-Benz, creating the short-lived Daimler Chrysler. Suddenly, Dodge had step-siblings with names like Mercedes-Benz. While the merger didn't last, it did lead to some shared technology, though not nearly enough Mercedes polish rubbed off on Dodge interiors. Then came the Fiat era. After Chrysler's 2009 bankruptcy, Fiat took control, and Dodge became part of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, FCA. This pairing brought more Italian flair into the mix. Today, Dodge is part of Stellantis, a mega conglomerate that includes Jeep, Ram trucks, Chrysler, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Peugeot, and more. It's a global buffet of car brands with Dodge still playing the role of the wild cousin who brings a muscle car to a wine tasting. Despite all these connections, Dodge has kept its identity, loud, fast, and proudly unrefined. And finally, weird thing number 1, the 5 most popular Dodges ever. See, Dodge has built everything from fire-breathing muscle cars to practical family haulers, but a few models have stood out as the brand's biggest hits. Vehicles that didn't just sell well, but became part of the American roadscape permanently. At the top of that list has to be the Dodge Ram. Introduced in 1981, before Ram became its own brand in 2009-2010, it was proudly a Dodge truck. Known for its bold styling and incredibly rugged performance, Ram helped Dodge carve out a serious place in the ultra-competitive pickup world. With Hemi engines, aggressive grille designs, and enough towing capacity to move small mountains, it was as popular on job sites as it was in high school parking lots. Then there's the Dodge Charger. First introduced in 1966, the Charger combined style, speed, and serious street performance. The modern 4-door version has become a favorite of performance fans, law enforcement, and anyone who thinks merging into the freeway should involve tire smoke. It continues to be one of Dodge's top sellers, especially in V8 form. Now, the Hellcat and Demon trims have introduced huge amounts of horsepower into the line. The Dodge Challenger, launched in 1970 and revived in 2008, is another heavyweight. Its retro styling and raw power made it an instant hit with muscle car enthusiasts. As with the Charger, the Hellcat and Demon trims, it becomes the car you buy when subtlety is no longer a concern and all you really want is a massive amount of horsepower. Now, on the practical side, the Dodge Caravan was a quiet revolution. It debuted in 1984 and it practically invented the modern minivan and sold in the millions. It didn't roar, but it did carry an entire baseball team and a week's worth of groceries in the back. Even the compact Dodge Neon deserves a mention. In the 1990s, it was everywhere, offering fun and affordability with a cheeky smile and the famously optimistic ad, "Hi." And it worked. It introduced a younger demo to the Dodge brand than they were known for previously. Well, that's it for today's episode. Hope you liked it, and if you don't, keep that to yourself. But do me a favor and watch more of my videos. I would really appreciate it. Take care. Have a great day.